Welcome back, gamers, to the Coffee Break, a gaming pit stop. I'm your host, Kawfee, here to serve you your weekly dose of gaming goodness with a side of coffee-fueled commentary. Today's lineup, we're tackling the age-old debate, consoles versus PC. Which is the ultimate platform? I'll also be sharing a first impressions review of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and wrapping it up with some juicy gaming news, including rumors about the Nintendo Switch 2 and Square Enix's new anti-harassment policies. Oh, don't forget, follow me on social media. You can find me at 1 Cup of Coffee, that's 1 CUPAKAWFEE, and Instagram at Cup of Coffee, at CUPAKAWFEE. Plus, check out my YouTube channel, The Coffee Break, and my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/cupofcoffee. Let's keep the gaming convo going. All right, let's dive into the great debate, consoles versus PC. First off, let's talk about consoles. They're straightforward. You unbox them, you plug them in, and boom, you're gaming. No need to worry about any type of system requirements or compatibility issues. And with exclusive games, whether it's Last of Us on PlayStation or Halo on Xbox or Mario on Switch, the consoles always have a strong lineup. I mean, consoles have been around for such a very long time, with really the first true standalone that really took the world by storm outside of Atari was NES. The NES system with Super Mario Brothers, then Super Nintendo, then you had Sega, then you fast forward even further, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Dreamcast, then you had your first PlayStation, then PlayStation 2, and Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and now we're up to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. But now Xbox is going even a step further with everything is an Xbox. But that brings me to my next point. There's the PC crowd. You've got customizable rigs, insane graphics, and mods that let you turn dragons in Skyrim into Thomas the Tank Engine. Plus, keyboard and mouse combos are unmatched when it comes to precision games like Valorant or your Call of Duties. I mean, your mouse and keyboard players are some of the best, if not the best in the world outside of, your controller players. I mean, even me, I had a gaming PC for a while. I was running a 1080 graphics card. It was pretty much top of the line, but then what happened? New graphics cards keep coming out. New graphic requirements come out for games, and it became difficult to where now I'm actually playing on console again. But it's not a bad thing. At the end of the day, what are you able to afford? I think most people, especially people that have kids, they're gonna go for a console because is it easier to spend, $400 to $500 on a gaming console versus $1,500 minimum for a gaming PC or a laptop? Absolutely. In addition to that, you can plug it right in your TV in the living room and you're good to go. But what's better? Well, it depends. Are you a plug and play kind of gamer or a customizer who loves tinkering? Personally, I enjoy both. I plan to get an upgraded PC here in the next year, but I also love my consoles as well. I absolutely enjoy both, but I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know on Twitter or Instagram at #CoffeeBreakGaming. All right, time for our mini/first impressions/first few hours review. Recently, I sat down with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and honestly, it's been a wild ride. To keep things fresh, I actually recorded my thoughts on a video that you can find on my YouTube, and I played through the first few hours, and I'm gonna go ahead and share that with you now. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Being a kid that grew up watching Indiana Jones movies, I was immediately interested when this got announced. Then, when it was stated that Machine Games would be making this game, the same studio that created the Wolfenstein movies, I was even more interested. Starting the game from the Raiders of the Lost Ark storyline was an immediate recall to my enjoyment of that movie and time frame. It was such a cool and fun experience to relive the beginning parts of that movie as Indiana Jones. Diving into the investigative elements of the game when searching for clues, as well as traversing through parts of the environments in the same way Indiana Jones did in the movies, is something I thoroughly enjoyed. For one, I was playing as Dr. Jones, and second, I am always a fan of exploring, investigating for clues, and moving stealthily through worlds. From a story standpoint, the game does a great job of keeping the player immersed in the story in a way that keeps it going at steady increments. I would complete a mission, then get some of the story, then complete a mission, and then get some more story, and it keeps me invested in playing. Sometimes missions or cutscenes can cause me to lose interest because the mission goes too long or there is too much go fetch it filler mission content that slows the pace. That's not the case in this game. The other element I like is that the AI enemies, while they don't seem to be the smartest, fit the character type that the bad guys from the movies always seemed to play. They were only dangerous enough for the common person, but not as smart or as tough as Indiana. On my initial playthrough, I did feel that while there are a great deal of NPCs walking around and filling the environments, there still seems to exist a sense of emptiness in the environments. I'm not exactly sure what it is or if it is just my initial perception. As I continue through this playthrough, it is something I want to pay attention more to. Overall, I am enjoying this game so far. I'm getting close to the halfway point of the game, and I will give more thoughts on if the game is a keep on going type of game or if it's a what next type of game. Stay tuned and give this game a try if you have the option to. So that's my take. If you played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, let me know what you think on social media. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out the gameplay on my YouTube. In addition to that, I'm almost done with the game. I think I got about 3 to 4 hours at the time of this recording. As soon as I get done, I'm about to go dive right back in. You can check that on the stream, the gameplay. So a full review will be coming soon. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave some feedback on the comments on the YouTube channel or right here on the podcast. By the way, if you're enjoying this episode, follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more updates and catch my live streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/cupofcoffee. Let's connect and geek out together. I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and now let's dive into this week's headlines. Story number 1, Nintendo Switch 2 rumors heat up. According to IGN, rumors about the Nintendo Switch 2 are buzzing. Speculation points to a release date in 2024. However, being that year is already passed, we're looking at now 2025 and even possible 4K support. IGN notes, quote, "It's shaping up to be a major leap forward for Nintendo, bringing the hybrid console into the modern era," unquote. What do you guys think? Are you ready for a new Switch? Does the current one still hold up? I mean, we're seeing a lot of leaks out there on what it could potentially look like. Doesn't look like a huge overhaul in terms of the design of the hardware, but in terms of performance, there's a lot of things going around that potentially can perform up to the equivalent of a PS4 Pro, which is not bad. Can really play a lot of different things. So we just got to wait and see, but want to know what your thoughts are. Story number 2, Lords of the Fallen publisher steers clear of politics. Publisher CI Games recently made headlines for saying they won't integrate, quote, social or political agendas into their games. As VGC reports, they stated, quote, "Our focus is on crafting immersive, escapist experiences for players," unquote. They basically said with the outcry of the DEI-infused themes of other games, it is reflective in low sales, and they don't want to contribute to that when they are publishing their games. But what do you think? Do you think that the game should stay neutral, or is there always room for social commentary in art? Me personally, I think that there's room for both. I think that you can always tailor your game to fit something that aligns with what we're seeing in in the current day and age. I mean, games and movies have been doing that for years, so there's really no difference. What I think it boils down to is, how do you tell that in a way that people actually want to immerse themselves in? Story number 3. Square Enix introduces anti-harassment policies. Square Enix is making waves with new policies aimed at online harassment. GameSpot reports, quote, Square Enix has stated it may take actions including cutting off game services to players who are found guilty of harassment or threats. This is honestly a bold move, but it's great to see companies taking a stand to create safe gaming spaces for all players. I mean, you always hear this, oh, you wouldn't survive the Call of Duty lobbies. Well, guess what? We're in a day and age where those lobbies exist in different games all across the gaming atmosphere. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Fortnite, Valorant, Call of Duty, you name it. There's always going to be people saying things in one way, shape, or form that are unhealthy and toxic and take away from the gaming experience that somebody is trying to immerse themselves in. I don't think it's a bad thing that companies are trying to, block this out, or not block it out, but put a stop to it if they can. Do I think it's possible? I do. Do I think that it will take a lot of work? I do. Is it impossible? It's not. But it'll definitely take a lot of work, and it just really depends on how much money companies are willing to invest. If they value their products, I'd say that they would do a lot. But what are your thoughts? Story number 4, and the final one of the day. 72-year-old gamer becomes Elden Ring icon. Finally, a feel-good story. Games Radar highlights a 72-year-old gamer who's become a community legend in Elden Ring, beating the game 7 times and amassing over 700 hours, and is also known as the Elder Lord or Elden Lord, one of the two. They said, quote, "It was impossible, but I did it anyway." That's the type of energy we all need. It just goes to show that there is no age limit on being a gamer. Doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter how old you are. If you love games, then you can bring that love and people will notice it and appreciate it for what it is. And I think there needs to be more of that. Enough of the grifting, enough of the back and forth, and just have fun playing games. That's a wrap up for this week's episode of the Kawfee Break, a gaming pit stop. Whether you're team console, team PC, or just here for the love of games, I hope you enjoyed today's deep dive. Let me know your thoughts on today's topics. Twitter at 1cupofcoffee and Instagram at cupofcoffee. They're the best places to reach me at. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And if you like the show, leave a review. It helps more gamers find us. Until next time, brew your favorite cup, power up your favorite game, and I'll see you right back here on the Kawfee Break.